Colorado's ban on conversion therapy for kids was challenged before the Supreme Court today. Christian conservatives say free speech rights should allow therapists to try to change the sexual preference or gender identity of minors. Democrats in Colorado banned it because medical experts say it's harmful pseudoscience. The conservative majority on the Supreme Court appears ready to rule against Colorado. Democratic Attorney General Phil Weiser, fresh off a flight back from Washington tonight, sat down with me and did not seem optimistic that Colorado will win.
Now, this court has shown us before they're willing to go far outside their headlights. They're not as sensitive around LGBTQ equality as I wish they were. So we're going to have to wait and see. What I can say is I'm proud of the argument we made, and I'm going to keep fighting for equal rights for all and to make sure that the LGBTQ community in Colorado knows that we've got their back.
It sounds an awful lot like you tend to agree with the legal observers who think you're going to lose. They're going to rule against you.
We knew going into this case that this Supreme Court, we just had this recently in a 303 creative case where it was about protecting civil rights protections. In that case, it was a similar type of Pandora's box.
Colorado could be headed for its third recent loss before the Supreme Court on similar cases involving free speech and religious liberty. The Masterpiece Cake Shop case, the baker who didn't want to make custom cakes for same-sex weddings. 303 Creative, a website designer who didn't want to make wedding websites for same-sex couples. And now this free speech challenge to Colorado's conversion therapy ban.
Is the law in Colorado hostile to religious conservatives?
Not at all. Colorado's law has an exemption. If what you're engaged in is religious guidance, ministry, the law doesn't apply to you. The law applies to people who are professionals, who get a license from the state and who have an obligation to provide a standard of care that's legitimate. The Supreme Court may reach to get to some result here, but it's, to my mind, a dangerous move because it's not grounded in facts, and it would open up this Pandora's box, allowing people to say, I'm going to practice whatever type of medicine I want because I've got some First Amendment interest in doing so.
So, I mean, you're not a legislator, you're a litigator, but do you see, based on what you heard from the court, that there would be a way for Colorado to achieve its aims through a slightly different methodology than what we currently have if they don't like the current setup?
We're going to work really hard to try to do that. The First Amendment doctrine, if they go that way, would be to say we've got to show under strict scrutiny, which is a demanding standard, that the regulation can be justified. If that's where the court lands, we're going to do our very best to justify as much protection as we can, because we know that LGBTQ youth are harmed by this practice. We want to make sure they're protected. We're going to do whatever we can to make that happen.
The Supreme Court's decision in this case could take a while. It's expected by the end of June next year.